Hey everybody, happy Friday. We're going to finish up that other half, I should say, of the first lesson in chapter 6, right? 6.1.1. Okay, we yesterday had the problem 6.5 through 6.9. Miss Teichman was nice enough to get us a video going through those problems. And we're all set to assign today's and realize there's no video for you guys. So let's make one. All right. So let's go back to our famous Joe and Jill student here and get the easiest 3 points first, right? Don't forget you want the date. And I'm writing date. I'm going to go ahead and write February 20. What is it? The 6th? Yeah, 6th today, the 27th tomorrow, and the end of the month on Sunday. So next time we see you guys, it's going to be March. Wow, how did that happen, right? So we're doing 6.1.1, and I'm going to put in parentheses second half. And then I'm going to go ahead and write the problem numbers. Right? What we're doing is 610, 611, 612, 613, and 614. And don't forget, almost lost one of the easiest 3 points, right? Your teacher name and your period, right? Your teachers teach more than one math class, so make sure you're putting that in there. All right, so 6-10, what are they asking us to do here? Looks like they want us to divide 12 pieces of licorice among 5 people. Okay, so I got my 12 pieces and 5 people. Let me see. Let's go ahead and make these. I don't know if you notice, you can see those squares. I'm going to make my 12 pieces 5 squares long, just thinking that this might help us. Okay. And sometimes I start the video after I've already done stuff like this, right? But there's my 12 pieces of licorice and 5 people, right? So if I said, let me see, everybody's going to get at least 2 pieces, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really everybody gets 2 whole pieces. And then how much left do they get if there's 2 pieces left and there's 5 people? Well, you can divide this into 5 and this into 5, and everybody will get 2 of these little fifths, right? But if everybody's getting 2 fifths, why don't we say one person gets that, one person gets that, one person gets that, one person gets that, and one person is getting this 1/5 of this piece and 1/5 of that piece. So everybody gets, right? If we say the people are A, B, C, D, and E, those are the people, right? If you add up how much every person gets, they're getting 2 full pieces and 2 fifths. So 2 full and 2 fifths, 2 full and 2 fifths, right? And you can see how these are the full pieces and these are the 2 fifths. And when you add all that up, what do you get? You get 10 and 10 fifths. Well, 10 fifths is improper, right? What does that equal to? That's equal to 2. So that equals 12 full pieces. Okay. Now, if we had you in class, we would have done some activities. If you totally would not have gotten that, don't feel bad. But if you totally get stuck on any problems, oftentimes go back and see what they would have done in class, because usually the pages before the preview and review are things that you might have done in groups in class. And sometimes that helps you, not always. But also I want to encourage you to use the ebook and use the hints on the homework, right? There's often good hints on the homework. So check that out. All right, so I kind of did that whole one for you. Now on 611, I kind of expect you to be able to do this. So I'm not going to do the whole entire problem for you. Um, I'm going to give you a hint. Okay, so 198 and 59 hundredths. And on B, we have 5,462 and 9,554 ten thousandths. Excuse me. On C, we have 724 and remember the decimal when you read something in words is the word and. And it looks like we have 82,338 hundred thousandths. Remember THS. And that last one, we have 851 and 392 thousandths. And you need to round. In the first one, we're rounding to the tens place. The second one, we're rounding to the thousands place. Now, I think everybody knows what the ones place is, but just in case, remember there's no such thing as once, right? But everything else has a match. You have tens. So the first, you have 10. That's this place, right? That's two spots to the left of the decimal. And you have tenths. And then you have hundreds and hundredths. And then you have thousands and thousandths. 10,000ths and 10,000ths. It keeps going, and there's a mirror image, but there's no such thing as once. Okay, so make sure you sort of have the place value. I'm going to underline the place value for you on these. What is in the tens place here? Well, you tell me while I get ready to write it. Tens place there. What is in the thousandths place? It ends in THS, so I know it's going to be to the right of the decimal. This ends in S, so I know it's going to be the left of the decimal. This third one, C, tenths. And again, this helps you because the first two starts with that letter, tenths and hundredths. And the second one is ones place. Okay, now what is in the tens place? Do you know? This is 100, 9 tens, 8 ones, 5 tenths, right? So the 9 is in the tens place. Thousandths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. That's second 5. Tenths, it's the first one, right? Right next to the decimal. And ones. The 1 is in the ones place. Now remember what you do when you round. You underline the place value. Okay, and this is how I do it. Underline place value. Then you look to the right, and I have the eyeballs pointing to the right, and then you check to see, is it a 5 or bigger? Okay, and if it is, the number you underline goes up by 1. If it is not, the number you underline stays the same. Remember, it never rounds down. People make that mistake and they round something down. Technically, when you cut off what's left on the end, you are rounding down a little bit. But the number you underline, the place value, the only choice is it for this to stay the same or go up by 1. That's it. Okay. So once you underline that place value, you're almost done. 612. Excuse me. Each of the following questions, draw a diagram to explain your answer. Okay. So how many fourths are in 1/2? Okay. Fourths in 1/2. And okay, I'm writing it like that, both in words and okay. Sixths in 2/3. And I'm going, how many sixths fit in 2/3? And I don't know if you recognize what we're doing here. Fourths in 6/8. But you might think to yourself, if I said, how many 2s fit into 10, what's your problem? How many 2s fit into 10? What are you really doing there? You're going 10 divided by 2. So this is a roundabout way, a different way of asking you to divide. And I'm going to do halves in 3 and 5/10. And I want you to sort of draw a picture and try that yourself, and you can come back to me and see how you did to check your answer. All right, 2 left. 613. Copy the line below and label the following numbers. Okay, so I got 0. I'm going to go ahead and draw it bigger. And I got 1. And where's 14/28 going to be? And do me a favor, don't put A as your answer up here and B and C and D. That does not help you at all when you go look at that paper later. But if I have 14/28 on my number line between 0 and 1, every time I look at that, I get a little bit smarter. And that's your goal. You want the homework to make you smarter, to make you more capable of doing that math and understanding it. For this one, they kind of call it number sense. What are you doing here? Well, you're kind of, some people do a portions web, make it a decimal. Some people can just divide the fractions. A 7 seems kind of hard. Thirds isn't too bad. 75 hundredths is 3/4. Oops, did I just give you an answer? But having them on the number line teaches you, right? Every time you look at that, if you have it correct, you're a little bit smarter. If 6 rabbits can eat 24 daisies, 6 rabbits eat 24 daisies, how many daisies would 4 rabbits eat? Now, what kind of problem is this? Anybody know? It is a ratio problem, but it also becomes what's called, you could turn it into a rate problem. Remember, a rate is a ratio with a 1 on the bottom. You simplified it all the way. And 6 fits into 24, so you can do that. It also becomes what's called a proportion. Proportion, right? If if my arm is twice as big as my son's arm, well, my leg should be twice as big as my son's leg. That's proportion, right? It would be weird if my arm was twice as big as his, but my leg was 3 times as big as his, right? One of us would look funny. Don't say me. All right. Yeah. So check this out. Write your ratio. Let's go rabbits to daisies or daisies to rabbits. Okay. Rabbits to daisies, right? And remember, I'm going to go 6 is to 24, and you can write it like that. You can write it in words, 6 to 24, and the third way you can write it is like a fraction. When you see like a fraction, you want to simplify it. When you simplify it, then apply it to this. It becomes much easier. Okay, that's your hint on that one. All right, I think you have enough to go try this yourself. Come back tomorrow and check your answers, okay? All right, have a good one, everybody.